everyone. Today is March 23rd, 2022. Can you believe? It's already third month of the year. Today we will talk about watercolors. My name is Tatiana Zaitseva. Behind the camera, George O'Hanlon. He will, as always, assist me today. And we will talk about Rublev colors, watercolors. Uh, some of you probably didn't even know that we have watercolors. We had customers who use our oils years and years and years, and then they found that, oh, you have watercolors. Same like sometimes we meet our customers who use our oil mediums, and they don't even know that we have the whole line of oil colors. So today we will talk about watercolors. I will be happy to explain how we are different, how we make our colors. And on top of that, we will introduce today 12 completely new colors. And it's exciting for us. Hopefully it will be exciting for you today. Hopefully you do this in your studio, because each of you need to understand colors, how they behave, how they look like after 5 years or 20 years. And so all these tests are very important. So now we are showing, it was important for me when I was doing this test. So I realized that it's such a big difference between two different papers. So then on the left side it's called pressed paper, and on the right side hot pressed, and we will see how the color behaves different. So first I always teach you, so you need to look on the tube. So you need to read information what company put in the tube. So for example, what's the pigment number? Is it single pigment? Is that many pigments together mix and pretend like some color? So first would be, look here, it's flocculation. And so this is our new color. It's cobalt green dark. And you can see how the particles are going opposite ways. And so, so the next one is I'm putting a lot of water, just one stroke, but it's again, this test is very specific. You take water on the brush as much as possible. So you basically dip 3 times, and then when water stay in the brush, you put all that water on one stroke, and then you put 3 or 4 dips of color on that puddle of water. The next, so then you can see the dispersion of the color. The next test is wet to wet, where you really can judge the chroma of the color.
Handsome.
People can hear. I
have a little bit of trouble hearing.
Okay. They're better now.
Just keep.
Okay. Okay, there's no sound. I hope George will fix right now. So here's again wet to wet, and here's mass tone. Did we fix?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the mask stone. So then you will just take the brush and so just full of color. You put on the paper. Oh, this is very interesting. So we will introduce you Hydrogel today. And if you are familiar with our audio gel, so Hydrogel works approximately the same like audio gel, but for watercolors. So what I did here, I put the Hydrogel first and then apply color on top. And you can see how it looks like the brush is sliding. Can you hear now? Okay, great. Okay. So same I will now do with Cadmium Red Light. And again, it's new color for us. The particle size of that color a little bit smaller, and you can see then flocculation already much less. And on hot press, it's almost invisible even. And again, so I did different brush in water, and I put a lot of water on the bottom, and you can see the flocculation on that side, if it's any. So here's again a lot of water, so where you can see the dispersion, and smaller particle size, the easier it's dispersing, because the particle size as they go in with water much easier than, let's say, with bigger particles. And a little bit later we will show you what the difference between natural colors and that's what we introduced right now. It's all synthetic modern colors. So here's the full tone. And here's again, I'm trying to put the color on Hydrogel where the brush is literally sliding. So now look what happened here. So I will try to scratch on the previous one on green, and you can't. So look what Hydrogel allows you to do. So if, let's say, you scratch. So let's say you made a mistake, you actually can easily cover that. And now, in order to make that green color alive, I will put a little bit of Hydrogel on top. And 10 seconds later, scratch. Go back to my red. So now to next color, and it's Benzene Dazzle yellow. This is synthetic modern color. It's organic. It's very unusual for us, and I can tell you this color was special done for one school for James Robinson. So that's color probably I would never look, but it's very important color for his school, and so we made that. And because it's organic, we're very careful in our factory with organic colors until we test it and thoroughly. And so again, we don't know if we will continue to do this color in the future, but for now we have plenty of this. And so, like I said, it's very powerful, very small particles, and so that's why you see that flocculation is here almost not exist. So in the latest one, so we are doing the cotton swab test where you can see how you can pick up the color. And you can see then on green, it was much easier to pick up. Then on yellow, it's almost impossible. You can see then on hot press paper, you can pick up white cleaner than on cold because the cold has a texture. So I guess now we will talk about our new colors. So we will very quickly introduce 12 colors and then I will return to our, okay, Cobalt Chromite Blue. And again, at least you will see what we show you, what test we were doing. And so here's, you can see a positive, you can see these two black lines. And so then one, you can see how you can cover. And so you have this blossom or background. You can see mass tone and you can see dispersion. So diffusion will just give you idea what's the hue in the color. So the next one is Cobalt Turquoise. It's the second one. So let's just go quickly. So Viridian. This one is very transparent, you can see, and so you can see what interesting background is giving the Viridian. Cobalt Green Light. Cobalt Green Dark.
Some flocculation going
Flocculation here, yes.
Other people call this granulation, but flocculation is actually the correct term because that's what is happening with the pigment. It's creating flocks or little bunches.
Benzene Dazzle, and you can see there's, although you can see the blossom, but there's no flocculation at all. At all. It's the particle size are so small. Very staining one. Cadmium Red Light and Cadmium Red Medium and Dark are actually quite big particles, and so again, still staining, very staining color. And so the next one is medium. And probably the most flocculation will be on the Cadmium Red Maroon. We have, yeah. So we introduce Ultramarine Violet.
Interesting background on that.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. And actually you can do quite a peg. You can see opacity on the very top. So Cobalt Violet, it's the picture is not actually the, okay, we will fix that a little bit because it's a little bit more, must be a little bit more bluish than this. And very exciting one, it's Shungite. This is very interesting mineral. This is from one place in the world. It's called Shunga. This is in Russia, a very north one. Well, we don't know if we will have, we do have plenty pigment of, right now, but this is very unusual. We are probably only company in the world who is making Shungite as a, or Shungite as a watercolor. We are hoping to make, maybe one day we will do oil, but for now we introduce you to watercolor.
Yeah, that's a natural pigment. It
yes.
is a natural carbon and silicone pigment. So.
Beautiful velvety color. So, hello. Oh, now I have my microphone, and I hope everybody can hear now. So, let's divide for two cameras, George, and then I will show you. So then natural pigments has approximately, it's in and out, so approximately 80 colors. It's not big line. If you will look other companies, it's always way beyond the 200. And the reason why, because we always keep one single pigment colors. We don't mix our pigments. And so then on the tube of the pigment, you always will read. Where's that? Right here. If I...
I'm going to see if I can get closer to that.
Yep. It's okay. I will right here. And so again, why is that important? Because we already explained several times on our videos. Then we do believe that more colors companies put in the tube, more difficult for you as an artist to work, because uh, painting is chemistry and paint is chemicals, and so you need to understand more chemicals you mix, more difficult to work. And so then, so for now, like I said, so we do have approximately 80 colors together with new 12. And what I wanted to show you, so then everything will be on website. So for now, a website, we are preparing new website. Hopefully next month we will have. So I just wanted to show you how every color, yes, thank you, so behave different on hot press and on cold press. And so, and here's even more, so then when you see the hot press and it's very heavy textured paper, it's 400 here. And so then you can see how the same color and so same color behave different. So today, so then this is my, you can just make a bigger picture. So this is how I keep my colors. so we introduced these 12 new colors, and so we do have only on half pans and full pans. We don't have in the tubes yet. One day we will. But again, if you're talking to European people, artists, so they mostly use pens, and because it's historically was done like this, or historically was done like this, which I will show you. So this is what we are now doing in the shells, and so we introduce you to that way of using colors. It's probably not very comfortable, but we started do this years ago for the people who paint manuscripts. And so, like, for example, we introduced lazurite like this in very big shell. And so now we don't even have lazurite. I mean, feel bad. But we will show you, we will sell to you in that kind of form. So that's shells. That's very interesting. And so now I will return back. And of course, I wanted to show you, that's how I'm testing my colors. And so every time, oh, thank you. So every time we have new color, I just put in this color on my wall, and then see what will happen. So far, all of them light fast, and so again, if you test your colors, it's great idea, and especially now these days when we questioning every organic pigment. So go back to our new colors, and we can split again. And here again, that's how on website, when you will go today on website, so you will see two different pictures for every color, for new every color. So you would need to understand one cold press, one is on hot press. So that's the only difference. It's for these colors, and that's how they look all together. And so, like, for example, that's how cadmium maroon here. Here's red cadmium light. Here's cobalt green light. This is cobalt green
dark. And so this is the Cobalt Illuminate. I'm sorry, Cobalt Chromite. This is Cobalt Violet. Here you can see, and I see the big difference here is in ultramarine. Here's the this is Viridian. You can see how flocculation and background is very interesting on Viridian. So here's our benzimidazolone. That's what we finally getting back. It's aureoline. So we have now back in stock this one. So, and we do have back in stock our cobalt zinc. Look at this. So we do, so this is cadmium. The lights are a little bit, what I see on the screen, it's a little bit brighter than it will actually, that when I see here, it's basically color of the almost like blood, but here's a little bit more pinky. And so this is our smolt. We brought back our smolt, so I'm happy to tell you.
And that's genuine smolt.
Genuine smolt.
Which is
glass particles are very small. Large compared to everything else. But yes, it's so we brought back our malachite. It took for us 2 years, but we finally have it. This so here we have Potter's Pink. Again, we this is long time we had that. It's historical color. And that is our Shungite. So guys, please pay attention. Very beautiful, beautiful color. So this is what about new colors. And today I wanted to introduce to you, so let's go back to our video. And that's, so this is, yep, that's how it was. And when it's dried out, we can just pull out George up. Yep. So that's what exactly I made for you on video. And that's how it's look when it's dried. I can put here. And you can see the dispersion here. Even dispersion look different on two different paper. Do we have any questions before I'm going to our mediums?
Kelly Reese asks, are the color samples available to purchase?
Color samplers. What it would be?
She's probably referring to like a chart. We don't have that available yet.
Kelly, we should do that. I will do that. So that would be my task, I guess. So yes. Yes. So I would like for you to, because again, it's same story always. We have very interesting products, but people somehow don't see them and on website. And so we decided, of course, to introduce to you today. So one of them, of course, it's Watercolor Medium. And so Watercolor Medium, if you decided you will take any of your pigment, whatever you decide. So we still were not brave to make a pearlescent colors, because if you know anything about Rublev color lines, so we usually use historical colors invented before 1850, or colors what basically disappearing from the palette of the color or artist. So more and more colors are coming to our attention, because due to, of course, especially in oil colors, but due to production and many companies are dropping a lot of pigments, and so it was in history. It's nothing new. It's not like suddenly 21st century decided like, oh, we don't like certain colors and we will not. So it just happened. And on top of that, way how we make our colors. And so that's why we, in oil lines, we specifically stay on certain formulas. Same in watercolors. As a company, we decided to choose the 19th century English formula for watercolors. And that's why when, for example, if you look, and so not only production, but how we afterwards we make that color. So we do this by hand. If you notice on big companies, big corporations or Chinese colors, when you look on watercolors, they are very flat. So because basically what companies do, so they make a paste, and they when paste almost dry, they cut in that and they intrude to the pens. What we do, how it was done then. So we pour a little bit of the watercolor in the pen, then we will let it dry. It shrinks, and if it's not shrinking, so something wrong. So if I saw one of the videos and some artist said, and oh, it's so good. I squeezed the color from the tube and put it in the pan, and it's not even shrink it. So that means it's very good color. It's full of pigment. This is not how it works, because when you buy the color in the tube, it obviously has a water. So water evaporates, and so when water evaporates, the color shrinks. So what we do, we pour a little bit, we wait until it shrinks, so then we pour again, and so sometimes it's like 2-3 times we shrink, we pour the color. So all of them will look very funny. So where is the camera? Like here. Oops, no, here. Okay. So you can see then each of them. So when you buy from us, it will be funny ones. And so when I dried some of them, and so then I thought like, oh, it's probably not enough. So I will put a little bit more. So, and you can see then shape of every color is different. So just to be aware. So then why is that not evenly done? And now you have explanation. So again, since we encourage you even in oil colors, we encourage you to make your own paint. So same as watercolors, because we have range of pigments, probably close to 200 pigments on website. And so from all over the world. And so if you decided and you want to be authentic, and then this color was, for example, digged in Armenia, and if you're making something very authentic, so then you can just go to our website, buy purple ochre or a Tavush green from Armenia, buy Watercolor Medium. It's balanced formula of water, the glycerin syrup, and gum arabic, where you can just make your own color of watercolor. So that's become, during the COVID, our watercolors were much more sellers than any other products. That was interesting for us. It was very unusual, and Watercolor Medium become basically just #1 seller. So this is one. And then, of course, like everything else, George in our company, he is introducing old formulas if they make sense. If they don't, we just avoiding. And so here's a crystal water varnish, and this is kind of varnish, but George will probably say why we have this name, but it is not a varnish how you are accustomed to think about. So, but since it's a historical name, so he will say what what is it about?
Crystal water varnish, it's not really it's not a varnish for watercolor. It is actually, but it's just the name that they called it back in the 19th century. And it's basically a gum Arabic solution that you can add. And at the time, artists would enhance the saturation of colors by adding a little bit of this to their paint. And they could get a little bit gloss on that color, and it would saturate it more to make it darker. So that was an important thing. There's an article on the Natural Pigments website that talks about how it was used by artists such as Turner in their watercolors, Winslow Homer, and as well as John Singer Sargent in his watercolors. And there's a couple of actual examples on that. You'll see examples of it on that. It's called Historical Watercolor Medium.
And I will show you all of their applications. So I will just go through what I prepared for you here, and then I will show you application on the watercolors. So the next one is lac water varnish, and that could be used as a varnish, but again, we don't recommend, because it's because you read that as a varnish. But George again will explain what it is.
So again, we're not recommending this as a varnish on watercolor. In fact, we don't recommend varnishes on watercolor. We continue to recommend putting glass or plastic over your watercolor. And again, this is to protect the paper as well as the pigment. But the lac water varnish is a water-based shellac. And again, it was used in the 19th century and perhaps even prior to that, and it was done it was used to make waterproof inks. But so if you mix a pigment with it, you essentially make a waterproof ink. But where it has been used is to prevent color from lifting. So if you put down some color, put a very thin amount of this onto the color, it will prevent that color from lifting, which means that you can put multiple glazes of watercolor down without lifting, so that you can build up greater opacity.
And you notice we do sell this with sprayer, and but you need to be very careful, because I will show you right now, so you can see.
So that was too much right there.
Yes, exactly. So that's why I will show you all mistakes, and so you can see how bubbling there. So, and probably the best way to use that, just to put that on, and to put very thin layer. But again, I can tell you this, it's depend on the color and the paper. Okay, right here.
So if you put too much, you're going to get you're going to get some gloss, which may or may not be bad, but generally you want to put it very thin, so you get very little gloss on that.
Yeah, you can see then on purple you don't see as much as on dark black. So by the way, this is Roman, and this is Cobalt Violet.
Roman black and Cobalt
Roman
Violet.
black, yes. Roman black. Very beautiful color, so that's very neutral, but it's looking different on camera here. So
yeah, it's not quite as brown as it looks.
Yes.
There. It's more of a neutral black.
So now I will put the crystal water varnish, so then you will see the difference between two of that. And again, very small amount. And you can see how glossy that is. And in a couple minutes, I will show you then all this glass you probably will not even see. anymore. So as soon as it will dry out, but the crystal water varnish will stay glossy. So if it's something what you don't want to see on your painting, please don't use. This is not your medium. So now that's the most exciting thing. I think we introduced that hydrogel some time ago, but kind of left.
It was earlier this month we
Yes.
sent out email about the
Yes.
hydrogel, which is a water-based gel
Actually, I
medium
should.
for watercolor. Kind of like our oleo gel for
Yes.
oil paint.
Yes. So let me clean second. Because I think I want to show that how it's look like. So that's how it's literally looks like our oleo gel, but with it's water based. So, and then you apply very thin layer on. Okay. And then I think I show you before, so then if you want to scratch, you can't, but you see what happened after applying. Again, you will ask, why do I need to scratch? If you're asking, so that means it's not for you. So because we do have a lot of watercolorists doing all kind of different applications, and so scratching is very important. And so sometimes if you miss the point where the color is still open, you can scratch. So the oleo gel will help you, and you can see that. So it's for now it's still glossy, and so I prepared for you yesterday the same paper, and you can see. So here's our application, and you see I did the heavy-handed yesterday here, and you can definitely see the bubbles here. So be careful.
That's what?
It's a lac water varnish. I'm sorry, lac water varnish. And it's very like with spray, so you can see then. But you see here, I applied the same lac water varnish with brush, what I did right here. And it giving some gloss, but not much. Not much. Where you can see the crystal water varnish it does have that
Quite
gloss.
a bit more gloss.
Yeah.
In that.
And again, if that's your desire, so then you do have your medium. And
But
so
you can see how it saturates the color,
Yes.
makes it darker, and that could be used in many different ways. Even if it's under glass, it'll have that appearance.
So same here. So then I did hydrogel, and you can see. So then it's again giving some gloss, not much. Again, maybe I did put a little bit more heavy than it needs to be. So, but you can control that. Usually hydrogel is not giving as much the glossiness than like, let's say, the crystal water varnish. And so, and here I had an attempt to pick up the color, and everywhere it's very easy to pick up, except so then you probably will have a little bit more difficult time to pick up on the lac water varnish if you put a lot. And so, and this, let's see if this one is ready. So let's put some color on top, and let's see how will it take. Here a little bit, so let's see, maybe just because it's too glossy. So again, it's beating up. You can see here. So if you put too much of lac water varnish, expect beating up. Where in with hydrogel, and with crystal, it's just taking color as, you know, like normal, as like another layer of the watercolor. So there would be no difference. So this is about 3 different mediums. Again, just because we choose historical names and call varnishes, it's again, I just repeat, if you want for longevity of your painting, it will not provide that. We don't put any UV stabilizers. They're like, basically there nothing will help watercolor paintings more than UV protected glass. So that's this, and now we will go for a little bit more unusual things. And here we do have, it's called wetting agent. And so again, George will help me. It's basically supplement. Oh no, not supplement. How's that called, George?
It's a surfactant.
Surfactant.
So it aids in wetting surfaces as well as wetting particles so that they behave differently in water.
Yes. And so here I was applying lines of colors with the wetting agent. Where it's important, the most important, why we did this this additive. If you make your own watercolor, let's say with Pyrrole or Prussian blue or quinacridone, which we don't recommend much because it's very difficult to make, but if you decided to attempt that, so then wetting agent will help you to disperse the pigment, because otherwise you will have a tough time to break up the particles. So when you are making your own watercolor, so that was specifically done. This product was done specifically for that. But then we found then it does make sense to use, if like you can see, so this is, you can see how it's bundled up. I actually probably can show you a little bit right now. So I did wet on wet, so then explanation will be easier. So here's wet on wet, and let's say here would be color, how it's behaving without our wetting agent. But here I will add a little bit more, a little bit of the and you can see how that is floating, where the with wetting agent it just bundle up, and it's just, it has, it's interesting. And again, it's not absolutely not necessary to use, we just have it. And so just to show you a little bit, so you see how running, and where it's opposite, it's almost like you probably can't see on the camera, but it's almost like drying up immediately right here. So
it controls the, you can use it to control the dispersion of the pigment in water, and so that's what's being demonstrated.
So you can see here too. So you can see how here's run, just regular water and color, and it's cypress burnt umber warm, and where it's bundled up here, and here's cobalt chromite, and you can see too. So that is something for you to play with. And so another interesting thing, which again, this is, again, it's not necessary to use, and it's not your masking tape, but it can be used as a resist. And when George was creating the Ceracolors, and again, we were thinking only about encaustic artists and only about people who really want to try wax paint without all fumes. And so then, of course, with line of colors, what we have Ceracolors, it's wax, water-soluble wax paint. And so obviously for every line of colors, you need some kind of mediums. And so one of that mediums was fluid medium. And it's basically very thin amount or small amount of wax dispersed with water. And so I can show you, it's very liquid. And you can see, because of course it's transparent, so but I prepared for you a little bit early. You can see on the paper. And okay, right here, okay, great. And so what I will do right now, so I will paint on top, and you can see how, just because it's a small amount of wax, and again, like I said, this is not masking tape, you can't take out, so whatever line you put, that will be the line. And that's how that one. Again, I put quite thick lines, so that's why the actually the color is bundling up on that line. You can, of course, you can clean if it needs to be. Oops, I took with color. If it needs to be, or maybe that's the desired way to for you to look that, I mean, to use that. And of course, the last thing what I want to talk to you today, so Artifacts started make now panels with watercolors, watercolor paper. And so we have here Strathmore 400. It's very quite thick one. And here we have Arches 300 pounds. So we have different sizes. And but the good part is, so it's an aluminum, and if you're comfortable with your work, if obviously this is not for practicing, but for professional artists who really care about longevity of their paintings. And so, and of course, we still have the that it's 10 panels. And so 10 panels from Artifacts, and again you can use that as for watercolors. It's very easy to pick up because George created special surface, and so this is durable. So
there was a question about
yes,
is that cold press or hot press?
So we have this is
the
arches. You know what? You need to call, but based on what I can see or identify, I think it's cold pressed here and hot pressed here. So you can probably call them and figure out, or go to artifacts.biz. And so then on website you can on their website you can order any of their panels. And so we do have panels there for mostly obviously for oils, but now we started to do for egg tempera, for watercolors, and so for acrylic artists, of course. And so It was great to have you today. We will answer questions if you have more, but now, since you stay with us all this time, so we are giving you special deal. So George, if you will put on, yes. So, and we apologize to our Canadian artist and our European artist. We try now our best to have all products on all three groups. So, but unfortunately, what we will we all offer to our American artists. So we continue do for this week. If you buy $20 or more of watercolors, doesn't matter, old ones, new ones, so you will have free shipping. If you buy $50 and more, so on top of your free shipping, we will give you the Rublev brush, and that's travel brush, right? That so free. So on top of the free shipping, so you will have that brush. For Canada and Europe, if you will buy $20 or for Canada $25 or more, it's free shipping. If you buy $50 or more, it will be we will include a tube of the hydrogel free for you. Now I'm open for any...
Europe, it's
yes,
it's $20, 20
euro.
Free shipping of all watercolors.
Yes.
And if it's 50 euros, you get a free tube of hydrogel. So, but for the free shipping, you need to use one of these discount codes, depending on which website you're going from.
Yes. Any questions?
Don't have any more questions.
Oh, how about crack test with hydrogel? So Ricardo, I kind of don't know if you meaning like if you mix with, which by the way you absolutely can mix hydrogel with watercolor and mix and paint with that, and I think we have one of the videos like this. Like everything else, you need to control yourself. So if you're doing something, first of all, don't do, if it's something new for you, make on practicing board, see how it's behaved with you. Because if I will tell you, no, it's not cracking, and you probably can absolutely prove me, then it can, if you will put a lot, and if you will put a lot, again, think about it's water, the most the biggest ingredient of that medium is water. And hydrogel George made specifically for if you need more open time, if you need a little bit more transparent glazes, if you do want the sliding effect of your brush. So all of that hydrogel will give you. But if you will abuse, if you will, let's say, put like impasta, so I would suggest for you to, again, to maybe make a little bit more, include a little bit more color to that instead of just like with water. Like watercolors are obviously they're, water,
The hydrogel is not really
heavy.
Designed for impasto.
Yes.
And in fact, you don't really do impasto in watercolor.
It is possible. We saw artists were doing this. We're not recommending, but again, yes, you can try for yourself, and tell us what you come up with. Yes.
I think Pam had a question about the cadmium red.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it was cadmium red light or.
What's the question?
Is it that bright?
It is quite bright, but it's on orangey side. So where the let's go here. Oh, look at this green, or what's that? Yes, it's green. So it's on orangey side. If
you want to put it down, and I can.
Yes, you can. If you can, yes. Unfortunately, the color. Yes. So this is too orangey. Okay, what you can see right now, it's a little bit too orangey. So it's same like this. It's more blue on bluish side, so maroon. I don't know how to fix the camera, of course. Where this color, it's the medium. It's literally like blood, like blood. So yes, I don't know what else can I say about that. It's
a cadmium red light. So
yep.
we have the 3 cadmium red light, medium, and the
maroon.
Yeah. Dark.
So I guess we are done today, and we're happy to have you today, and see you next month. We will announce what would be the topic. If you are interested in something very much, please write to us, and we definitely will consider to make whole program AMA for you. And so for now, stay healthy, be happy, and see you next time. Thank you very much.